Hello Sagittarius, welcome to the predictions for the month of October 2025. When the Sun passes through the sign of Libra, the essential thing is to welcome autumn, which opens the second half of the year when the amount of light and darkness is balanced, although the length of the night will gradually increase. It is a natural effort that requires actions to stabilize existing conditions, seeking justice both literally and figuratively. Let us remember, then, that the justice that comes from the system has nothing to do with what each of us wants or thinks is right, but rather with achieving a broader perspective, and this, to be honest, is not something easy to perceive, much less understand. It takes us time to adapt to what the sky dictates, and we only understand the message later. For this reason, it is important to understand the order of the solar system and its movements. This way, we will have more tools to know what awaits us and, most importantly, how to take advantage of it. The Sun in Libra illuminates you, the associations and groups to which you belong, where you can share your opinions and enjoy agreeing with the beliefs and opinions of others. At this moment, Jupiter in Cancer, your ruling planet, is preparing to pause and retrace its steps. It's transforming your processes of closure and transitions, allowing you to grow enough to leave behind what no longer serves you on the coherent side. On the incoherent side, it means clinging to situations that make you feel secure but don't really allow you to grow. In reality, it's time to grow emotionally in these processes, taking into account the harmony of Saturn in Pisces now and of Neptune at the end of the month. Jupiter in Cancer also brings you gains and gifts that others share with you, especially your partner and associates. The sign of Libra is ruled by Venus, and following its movements this month will shed light on what we need to prepare for. From October the 1st to the 7th, Venus is in Virgo and Mercury in Libra, which speaks of an exchange of energy between our thoughts and our desire for diplomacy, to make a good impression, to find balance and justice. The key is to serve others and strive to be neutral with our desires, leaving behind the single vision of the self in order to think about the common good. This position of Venus is truly not easy for you, as it requires stopping to analyze in detail while you prefer the big picture. Dwelling on the details is really not your thing. Venus continues in Virgo and Mercury enters Scorpio on October the 7th, so mental focus will be stronger, as will your fear of getting caught up in a work issue. Because clinging to a single issue of any kind is not your thing. This energy won't allow you to change your mind or change the subject so easily. As for Venus, it will face an opposition to Saturn before leaving Virgo, which you will resent as a restriction on your desire to serve and the need to contain a multitude of feelings that seem endless. You must put your home in order and, for the time being, avoid listening to criticism or the desire for perfectionism in the workplace and social spheres. This effort will continue until October the 12th. The following day, when Venus advances into Libra, it will strengthen your desire to exchange opinions in your groups and associations, and above all, to achieve refinement and elegance through the idealization of your goal. This will encourage you to seek new ways to express your faith, Above all, it will establish a balanced dialogue with Neptune in Aries, which means you'll want to embark on adventures with your children and loved ones. The point is that you'll feel inspired by them to pursue deeper or more spiritual relationships. The full moon on October the 6th is special because it concerns relationships in both directions, those we have with our parents due to the opposition between the moon and the sun, and those we establish with our peers because the moon in Aries is ruled by Mars and the sun in Libra is ruled by Venus. From this perspective, we can now aspire to be clear about how you relate to your friends, which is different from that of your children and loved ones. This lunation is a very important time to recognize that what others reflect back to us brings the message of being proactive, not aggressive. Mars in Scorpio all month shows you the need to focus. Although this truly represents a challenge, it wouldn't hurt to focus your attention on a single issue for a while. This doesn't mean you'll remain stagnant or trapped. These are unfounded fears. The relationship between Venus and Mars at this time will be somewhat complex, and there may be clashes between what you want and what you actually do, especially since the signs where these planets are located propose different methods, one of service and the other of personal focus. The only way these tendencies can align within us is if we carefully think about what we truly desire and how we work to achieve it. Neither sign is a good fit for you. On the contrary, they suggest a period of attention to detail and targeted action. This is important because Mars will be in harmonious contact with the nodes of the moon from October the 17th to the 22nd, which will affect your relationships and goals, which must leave behind a very specific vision to conclude everything that is emotionally pending. Returning to Mercury, from the beginning of the month, an internal demand will be established to review what gives you security, the attempts to achieve it, the failed actions, and the order you must follow now to satisfy all demands, keeping all forms within an agreement that will be difficult to establish and complex to enforce. On October the 21st at 6:24 a.m. Central Time, we will have a new moon in Libra in a confrontation with our growing need for security and the original wound that needs to be considered to move circumstances forward over the coming months. Above all, in the face of changes and new ideals that are still unclear. The change is felt, it cannot be specified, but it will certainly surprise us. This process will help you connect with the goals you want to achieve, overcoming a creative insecurity. This is to encourage you to recover and represent yourself professionally with elegance and diplomacy, doing justice to yourself, the one who knows how to get up when you fall. On October 23rd, the Sun enters Scorpio preceded by Mars and Mercury. On that very day, the Moon, already in its new phase, is also in this sign, making this moment a period of important focus and emotional intensity. Furthermore, it's in supreme harmony with Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. Once again, we are talking about a process that stabilizes emotions, but for you it seems to bog down the situation at home or with your ancestors and family of origin. The security they provide is considerable, and truly focusing on creating something different doesn't have the necessary energy right now. Take advantage of the harmony with Saturn and then Neptune to put order into everything you've taken for granted about your origins. You don't know and you don't have to limit yourself. It's also a peculiar time of the year, allowing you to reconnect with the original wound, the one that occurred when you were most vulnerable. But now you'll have the emotional strength to understand the corresponding lessons, in short, to be able to assimilate what happened. Take advantage of this time until November the 7th to stabilize your emotions, facing the fear of losing security and changing what's established even if it hurts. On October the 22nd, Neptune re-enters Pisces for the last time, only to the 29th degree, where it will remain until January the 25th. This signals a completion, culmination, and destiny, where the final lesson of the sign is learned before moving on to the next. For 14 years, you have experienced the challenge of the best expression of Neptune in its modern rulership, making you stay at home or your relationship with your origins turned hazy. Perhaps you've even lost your roots. Connect with the essence of your family heritage, your ancestors, and your family. Seek clarity about your legacy, what everyone's efforts entail in bringing life to you. Uranus and Pluto will continue to present theories, communications, and new reasons to come together and work as a team, which you will achieve if you work to stabilize yourself emotionally. However, Pluto will present you with a conflict on that 23rd of the month when, due to the tension with the Sun in Scorpio, it will bring a clash between what you want individually and what the community, groups, and society in general consider important, powerful, or acceptable. On the 29th, when Mercury advances into your sign Sagittarius, it will oppose Uranus in Gemini, which brings a surprise to relationships and will force you to start rethinking new endeavors and adventures with your partners and loved ones. See you soon.